all beings long for happiness, and all beings fear suffering and pain. Unfortunately, dukkha, suffering, sorrow is a characteristic of life. So, all of us are afraid of suffering, of pain. So we keep looking for happiness. Also because dukkha is every day is a characteristic of life, we try to distract ourselves from dukkha and try to look for sukha in various ways. So from the moment we are born, we are looking for ways to enjoy ourselves, to have happiness until we die. When we are young, we like to play games. As we grow older, we try to look for a partner in life. Looking for a partner in life also is a gamble, isn't it? To marry or not to marry, and that is a question with many of us. That's enough. And then the particular person you have in mind, whether it's the right person or it's the wrong person. Will I be happy after marriage? Yeah? So, we try the best we can. Sometimes take a gamble. So, for most people, worldly people who don't know much about the Dhamma, we think, especially Chinese, it's the best way to get happiness. One sui, one loi, that's enough. Money, we think money can buy us a lot of happiness. In a way it's true, because money can make you enjoy a lot of things in this world. Basic things like house, car, food. The more money you have, the better things you can get in life. Have makeup, beautiful clothes, shoes. And if you have more money, you can watch astro, go overseas. Nowadays you look in the papers, you can even buy a wife, isn't it? Go to a coffee shop and select a wife from Vietnam. How much you pay? I don't know. So there are this lawful way to get money and unlawful ways of getting money. And whether it's a lawful way of getting money or unlawful way of getting money, we all struggle very hard. So people who think money is more important, they put in more effort. When I was working as a layman, maybe I didn't think money was so important. So I worked in the government service, 8 to 4 job. Very relaxed. No, not much pressure. Some of my friends rose to be top people in the certain companies, CEO and all that, but they had to work very hard. Go off to office, eat something in the morning, come back 10, 11 at night. Hardly have time for the family. Children hardly had time to know their father. But they thought it was worth it, because they wanted happiness for themselves and they wanted happiness for their family. But then, whether we work in a legal way or illegally, even crooks, they work extremely hard. Yeah? When you're sleeping at night, 2 a.m. they come out. So hardworking. Even in the monastery, we're not so hardworking. We get up 4 o'clock, they get up 1 o'clock. So you find in spite of all this effort people make, some people can make a lot of money, but some people, in spite of great efforts, they make little money. And then some people, if they do some business, they even go bankrupt. Yeah. And some people, they even die trying to make money. For example, when the market crashes, some people commit suicide. And also certain jobs are dangerous. So why is there a difference in people making different amounts of money? According to the Buddha's teachings, it all depends on your blessings, on your merit. If you have more blessings, you will be able to get what you want. You'll be able to enjoy what you want. And if you have less, you will not be able to enjoy. Now, these blessings, there are two types. One is past life and one is present life. Present life, mainly, the main thing is effort, making a lot of ardent effort. Past life is past life good karma, blessings from the past life. So the Buddha said, to get blessings, we have to do certain things. See, the Buddha's teaching is very systematic. It tells you exactly what to do so that you do the right thing and you get what you want. The Buddha said, if you don't know the Dhamma, you do things in the wrong way, you will not get what you expect to get. For example, the Buddha gave this simile. If you want to get oil, you get something like sesame seed and you crush it. You crush it, you get oil. Yeah? But if you don't know, then you get sand and you crush it, hoping to get oil. You will definitely not get oil. Right? So we have to understand how to get what we want. So the Buddha said, to get blessings, three things are important: Dana, Sila and Bhavana. Dana is posi, generosity, charity. Sila is keeping the precepts, moral conduct. And Bhavana is developing the mind. Now this Dana and Sila, charity and moral conduct, are basic for a human being. Dana is charity or generosity, means helping others. Sila is not to harm others by keeping precepts. So Dana is not only money. In whatever way we can give happiness to others, we give. As a Cantonese say, yao lui chut lui, yao lek chut lek. So, if we come to a monastery, some people have the money, they give money. If they have not so much energy, then they give their time and energy to do some work in the monastery, help around, whatever way they can. And not only a monastery, whoever needs your help, we should try to help. Because ultimately, our mind, our heart is most important. Not what religion you belong to. Even you have no religion, but you are a very good person, you have a place in heaven. But if you are very religious, but actually your heart is not good, then you are only making a show of religion. So in Buddhism, there is no bribery and corruption. You cannot say, I become a Buddhist, I can go to heaven. Other religions maybe, not in Buddhism. So we try to help others in whatever way we can. For example, Christians are known for Christian love. If any of their members become sick, they all gather and come and visit him or her and sing hymns and pray for that person. So we Buddhists also should do the same. Unfortunately, a lot of our Chinese are very pantang, isn't it? Somebody is very ill, you're scared, so you go there, you also become ill. Somebody pass away, you're afraid, you go there, just ayak, chong do. Isn't it? But actually that is not Buddhism. That shows our ignorance of the Dhamma. If we understand the Dhamma, we practice according to the Buddha's teachings, we will have a lot of blessings. We have a lot of merit. One in Hokkien we call Jivun Guan, Guan So Go. So such a person, you go anywhere and not afraid of anything. No beings will harm you. Because you have Totak, you have virtue. There will be a lot of spirits who will guard and protect you. That's why you find in Thailand some forest monks, they go alone into the deep jungle where there are very fierce ghosts and very fierce devas. But they don't harm them. Because these spirits, they are psychic, they can read our mind. So if you are a good person, they will respect you. If you are not a good person, they will know straight away. So we don't pantang. So there is generosity. And sila is keeping the precepts, like the 5 precepts: not to kill, not to steal, not to commit adultery, not to lie, not to take intoxicants. And once a week, if you can keep the 8 precepts, that's very good. So when we keep the precepts, we refrain from harming others. So these two are very basic, If we don't know how to practice these two, generosity and moral conduct, we don't know how to be a human being. And we don't behave as a human being, next time we don't deserve to come back as a human being or to go to heaven. That is why a lot of people in this world, after they die, they are reborn in the ghost realm. Even though they don't do evil, they are still reborn in the ghost realm because they have used up their merit, used up their blessings. That's why we Chinese also believe. Listen up. You expect 7 days after your mother has passed away, she will come back. Yeah? So in the 7th night, you're waiting very anxiously. And very often that person comes back, but not necessarily 7 days. Might be after 2 days or 3 days. Very often happens. And if there are signs that that being, that person has come back, for sure that person has turned into a ghost. Otherwise, not likely that that being will come back. If that person has become a ghost, then he wants to let you know because he wants help. But a lot of people in other religions, as somebody told me, in a Christian family, the mother passed away. He must have turned into a ghost, came back to the house. And the family got scared, all moved away, leaving the old lady to herself. We are different. If we find that there are signs that our departed relative has come back, then we try to help. How? Once that person has become a ghost, only 2 things that person needs. One is food, the other is clothing to wear. So we offer food and clothing to any place and transfer the merit to that person. So these 2 things, dana and sila, the Buddha said, if we don't practice at all, there is no chance that we will be reborn as a human being or go to heaven. We will most likely go to the 3 woeful planes, the ghost, animal and hell realm. These are the 5 destinations of rebirth. The best is the heaven, and next to it is the human realm. These two are called happy destinations of rebirth. And below us are three woeful destinations of rebirth, the ghost, animal, and hell realm. So the Buddha said, if we do charity and moral conduct, keep our moral conduct to a very low degree, then the chances are that we will be reborn back as a human being, but with not much luck, with not much blessings. Cari makan also a bit susah. Born also not so beautiful. But if we do these things moderately, then the Buddha said, very likely we'll come back as a human being with much blessings. And if we do it to a great degree, then very likely we are reborn in heaven. So we all know now that the richest man in the world is Bill Gates, right? We also know that he has promised to donate 95% of his wealth away in charity, right? So it's very likely that he was probably the same type of person in a previous life. That's why today you see him as the richest man in the world. Because how many people can do it? Most people, we donate 5%, oh cukup dah. 95% we want to keep, but him is the opposite. So he has already booked himself the place as the next richest man in the world when he comes back as a human being. So that is the benefit of dana and sila. Now bhavana, the third thing, developing our mind consists of two things. One is to learn the original teachings of the Buddha, the Dhamma. Because the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, is actually explaining the natural laws of the universe. It is nothing new. It is not a theory or a philosophy. It is just facts of life. Because the Buddha had become enlightened and he knows exactly how the natural laws of the universe work, so he'll explain it to us, and it's up to us to practice. He says if you do this, you will be reborn there. If you do that, you'll be reborn there. So it's up to us to choose. So if we learn the Dhamma according to the original teachings of the Buddha, then we will understand exactly what to do. And the second part of bhavana is to meditate. If we meditate, then we clear our mind and we get a very high IQ. We can see things very clearly. Our wisdom will grow. People with great wisdom, they have great samadhi power. Samadhi power is synonymous with wisdom. That's why you find a person like Albert Einstein, one of the highest IQs in the world. He is known to calculate mathematical problems by closing his eyes and doing all the calculation in his mind. Yeah. If you don't have such strong concentration, how can you do all this complicated calculation in your mind without writing down? Isn't it? That's why meditation boosts our IQ. So if you all want your children to get more A's, teach them to meditate. The Buddha says that the more blessings we have, the higher we are reborn. Even the heavens, there are many levels of heavens. And the more blessings we have, the higher heavens we go to. Now, if we consider the heavens, every world system consists of three levels: the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. The desire realm is where you have male and female, and lust dominates the minds of beings. And then the formless realm, you have to attain the meditative absorptions called the jhanas, the 4 jhanas. Then you can be reborn in the form realm. And if you attain the formless jhanas, you are reborn in the formless realm. So we take the lowest, the desire realm. The Buddha says there are 6 heavens. The lowest heaven is the heaven of the 4 great heavenly kings, Si Tai Kim Kong. And under these you have the low devas like snake spirits, Chua Chi, Nagas. You have the Garudas, the bird spirits, the river spirits, mountain spirits. You have the cloud spirits, tree spirits. All these are low spirits, where the low devas, where they still kill to survive. Then higher than that is Sakadeva Raja, heaven of the 33, Tavatimsa heaven, where you have devas and asuras. Our Chinese like to pray to this deva there called Thi Kong. Thi Kong is Sakadeva Raja. Cantonese called Yok Wong Tai Tai. But that is only the 2nd level. Then higher than that you have the Yama Devas to Sita heavens. And then the 5th heaven is called Nimanarati heaven. And the 6th is called Paranimita Vasavati. Now this 5th and 6th heavens, the blessings is extremely great. So great that they just, whatever they wish for, they just think only, it appears. Whatever food they want, whatever Ferrari or whatever they want, and even boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, how many they want, what size and shape, everything is also available. Just think only appears. So, since you can get everything they want in this world, you can say the world is at their feet, isn't it? And most people would think, they must be the most happy beings in the world. Yeah? But the Buddha says, no, there are higher beings who enjoy even greater happiness. And these are the devas in the form realm. In the form realm, because they have attained meditative absorption, in these states the mind begins to become bright. So when they are born there, their bodies are just a ball of light, very shining ball of light, even brighter than the sun. And some of them, at the very least, their light can shine to 1,000 world systems. Each world system consists of a star or a sun. And some of them can go as far as 100,000 world systems, their light can shine. So bright. Which means it is even brighter than the sun. And still higher than that, in the 2nd jhana heavens, the Buddha says they are so happy that every day they are blissed out. They just say happiness, happiness, sukha, sukha, sukha. Like somebody high on drugs. But if you're high on drugs, only for a few hours. But they, millions and millions and millions of years, without needing anything, without even thinking or wanting anything. And then the 3rd jhana heavens, the Buddha said, they are even more blissed out to the extent that so blissed out, can't even say anything. And the 4th jhana is even happier. So you see, I begin to wonder, how come these devas, they don't need anything and yet they are happy? And then higher than that, the formless realm is even higher happiness because the jhana is even higher. So here is the secret. What gives us happiness? Even though a lot of us think that happiness depends on getting what you want, actually it is not true. Happiness is just a feeling, a happy feeling, and an absence of painful or suffering feeling. So if you want to get happiness, you must know how to prevent unhappiness from arising and how to create happy feelings to arise. but it's not through shabu or ecstasy pill. So now, after studying the Buddha's teachings, I come to this 5 steps to attain happiness, real happiness, lasting happiness, not momentary, fleeting happiness. The first one is to practice contentment. Practicing contentment is not like some people think, oh, I'll be content if I attain my ﷺ. Practicing contentment means to have less wants, less desires. Because if you have more desire, then it's like a hunger. You feel hungry for something or thirsty for something. Must quench your thirst. Yeah. So if you are contented, then even you are not very rich, also boleh tahan. You need to work for ₦1,000,000. We Chinese, on the other hand, because of maybe our genes or DNA, we like to slog a lot. Yeah. So it is no wonder in this country the people with the most cancer is who? Chinese. That's enough. Government statistics say 1 in 4 people attain cancer in this country, and most of them are Chinese. So you can imagine 3 in 1 Chinese probably, 1 in 3 Chinese, will get cancer. Right? Because of stress. We give ourselves a lot of stress. Have you ever heard of orang asli getting cancer? Never. Why? We have orang asli near where we live, so we understand orang asli is a bit more. When they are hungry, they'll go to the ex-mining pond and fish. Doesn't matter what fish they get, they go home and cook and eat. Then when they have more money, they'll go and drink liquor. They like to drink liquor. And then when they have no money, what do? They don't worry like us, they go and sleep. They really know how to enjoy life, isn't it? We are different. We give ourselves so much stress and pressure that you see sometimes in the papers, school children also commit suicide. Right? Parents give them too much pressure. Yeah. When I was a small boy, never think of studying until Form 3. Until Form 3, I always play every day. Go and play fishing, shooting bird, play football. Come back from school, play football 3 hours until I sleep on the grass. Only when I was in Form 3, my brother came back from Brinsford Lodge. Being a teacher, he started tuition me, make sure I study every day. Then only I start to have good results. But at least I had my childhood. I enjoyed my childhood. Yeah. Now these children, you see, never enjoy their childhood. Yeah. Pity them. So the first thing is contentment. If we have less desires, we will not create this unhappiness within us. Right? So the second way how to create unhappiness is not to give unhappiness to others, and that is by keeping sila. If we keep the precepts of not killing, not stealing, not committing adultery, not lying or cheating, etc., then we are not giving unhappiness to others. And because we don't give unhappiness to others, we don't reap unhappiness, we don't get unhappiness. A lot of people, they don't keep the precepts, and then when they start to grow old, their mind is full of remorse, and then they become low mo, mong tong, very young. Whereas people who keep the precepts, you find their mind is very steady, they don't have remorse. I have an old supporter in Penang, 90-something years old. The body bent over like that. Sometimes she has to bend himself the other way, to walk. And in spite of that, memory very good. Can remember people's telephone number. Because every day she will remind herself, keep the precepts. She will do some chanting, she will do some meditation. Now nobody is looking after her. Her son put her in a nursing home. And she practices that. So that is a way not to become mungtong, keep good sila. So if we keep sila, we prevent unhappiness from arising. The third way to get happiness, we give happiness to others by being generous. Not only in terms of money, give comforting words, help other people as much as we can. If we are good to others, people will respond. If you are good to others, people will naturally be good to you. So you get back happiness. Everybody is good to you, then life becomes quite pleasant, right? So that's the third way. The fourth way is to understand that happiness, suffering, there are two forms of suffering. The Buddha said, mental suffering and bodily suffering. And the Buddha said bodily suffering is something that we cannot avoid. For example, getting old, becoming sick and dying. This is something we cannot prevent. But mental suffering can be prevented. Why? Because a lot of that mental suffering comes from ignorance. For example, being unnecessarily angry, having a very strong lust. So, the Buddha said, this mental suffering, there are 5 causes, what the Buddha calls the 5 hindrances, pancha nivarana. First one is sensual desire. What in normal language we say gatal. Because of having that problem, I have to go to Hajjai. So far, so I have to go risk the bombs and all that. So sometimes you find in newspapers, old man raping the daughter or granddaughter. So this sensual desire is something that troubles us and gives us suffering. Second one is ill will or anger. If you have a lot of anger, sometimes people annoy you a bit, and you think about it and get more and more angry. You can't sleep at night. So who suffers? So we make ourselves suffer by having a lot of anger. Third one is sloth and torpor. A lot of sloth and torpor, then we become very lazy, very sleepy. We don't feel like doing a lot of things. And the fourth is restlessness and worry. Some people have a lot of worries, and some people have a lot of restlessness. They can't stay still, can't stay at home, always must go out. The fifth one is doubt. If your mind is not very clear, everything you want to do, you are doubtful. So you have to decide to do A or B or C. You can't decide. You don't know whether A is good or B or C. Right? So these 5 hindrances envelop our mind and make us have a low IQ, no wisdom. So how to overcome this? The Buddha says is by meditation. To practice samatha meditation, where we discipline our mind. Our mind is like a monkey, doesn't like to be disciplined. When we sit down, we try to concentrate on our breathing. It will run here, run there. Pay attention to sounds, to the pain in your leg, to thoughts in your mind, etc. So we keep practicing, even though it's difficult. Mind training is one of the most difficult things to do in the world. But in this world, what is difficult to do is usually rewarding. So like I had an old supporter in Ipoh, few years ago, she started meditation. At that time she was in her 70s, I think. And she found it, because starting to learn meditation in her old age, she found it very difficult. She could only sit for 5 minutes. I told her to persist. And over a period of 1-2 years, she managed to sit up to 1 hour. And then time for her to pass away. But because she could manage to meditate for 1 hour, when the time came for her to die, her mind was very steady. Very steady. So it helps a lot. When you're about to pass away, you don't panic.